So just to clarify, enhanced conversions here, this is enhanced conversions for web, and enhanced conversions for leads is actually offline conversion tracking, which is something a bit different. It's where you... Hey guys, Patrick Sam here from 𝗪𝗏𝘁, and welcome to the third and final module of the Google Ads conversion tracking for lead generation. In this module, we will be covering layering on enhanced conversions for web, also known as 𝗬𝗶𝗺𝗏 for short. Again, just to quickly summarize what we've gone through in this course. So in part 1, we covered the basics of Google Tag Manager. In part 2, we covered Google Ads conversion tracking for form submissions. And in this last module, part 3, we will be covering layering on enhanced conversions for web, or 𝗬𝗶𝗺𝗏 for short. In this module, you will learn how enhanced conversions for web actually helps you to capture more data, how you can actually implement enhanced conversions for web yourself within Google Tag Manager, and finally, how you can debug and test that enhanced conversions for web actually is working correctly. So at the end of this module, you should have a basic technical understanding of how enhanced conversions for web works, and you should also be able to confidently implement this yourself inside of Google Tag Manager. So yeah, let's jump in. So first and foremost, what is enhanced conversions for web? So enhanced conversions for web is a way to track additional conversions that you would have otherwise lost. Because there's many ways people can kind of fall out of your conversion tracking. Sometimes they might have ad blockers, for example. Sometimes certain scripts might not load. There's a bunch of different reasons why. So it's a way to potentially capture additional data. It also sends first-party user-provided data from your website to Google. The data is then used to match your customers to Google's accounts, so Google's databases, and they can check whether that user was signed in and if they engaged with one of your ads. So examples of first-party user-provided data would be an email address and or phone number. There are other fields as well, like the address of the user, if it's like an e-commerce purchase. But in most cases, it will normally be either the email address or a phone number. And enhanced conversions is also a privacy safe method, as the data is actually encrypted before it's sent over to Google using 𝗪𝗏𝗁256. And that basically just takes an email address, for example, scrambles it into a random bunch of letters and numbers, and that is then sent over to Google. So you never send like someone's email address as plain text to Google, so they can identify who that is. It's always hashed first, then sent to Google, and Google will then try and match that hashed email with an email in their database to see if that user was logged in and if they interacted with one of your ads. So here's kind of a visual representation of how this might look. This is pulled from one of Google's documentations. So in step 1, you can see a user is signed in to Google or YouTube. They watch a video, they click on one of your YouTube ads, they then get sent to your website. Maybe your form is on that page, on the landing page, or maybe they get sent to a different page, but then eventually find your form on another page. They fill it out. The email address is captured, it's hashed, and then sent securely to Google. So that's all happens when they send the form submission. And then that hash data is then finally checked by Google, and the conversion is counted and then reported in your account. Okay, so how do we actually layer on enhanced conversions for web inside of Google Tag Manager on our existing Google tag that we set up in module 2? Well, let's jump in and see how we can do that. Okay, so before we jump into Google Tag Manager, there's a setting that we need to check first inside of our Google Ads account. So if you go to Google Ads and then go to the goal section on the left-hand side here, and then go to settings. And then if you see in settings here, there's a section called enhanced conversions. If we expand this, then we can see that we have enhanced conversions turned on here as the checkbox is ticked. If this is not actually ticked, then make sure you do tick it. And then for this option here, I would select Google Tag Manager, click save, and now you should be good to go. Now there's also something here above it called enhanced conversions for leads. This is slightly different to enhanced conversions here. But just to clarify, enhanced conversions here, this is enhanced conversions for web, and enhanced conversions for leads is actually offline conversion tracking, which is something a bit different. It's where you upload data offline to Google. So you could use something like a Google Sheet, but it's just a different method to what we are using, which is sending data online rather than offline. So you can ignore this one for now, although you could turn it on if you wanted to. So once you have this box here checked, and once you've got this set to Google Tag Manager, we can now move over to Google Tag Manager. If you remember, we have a very basic form here with a name, email address, and message field. Now, when a user fills in their email, we want to be able to capture that and then send that over to Google, and hashing it as well before we send it over, so it's encrypted data. Now, if I go into Google Tag Manager, we've got the form submission Google Ads conversion tracking tag that we set up in Module 2, and this fires on a form submission. Now, just to keep note on the Google Ads documentation for the method I'm about to show you, if you have a trigger that isn't a form submission, so for example, if you are tracking a thank you page, like I showed as an example in Module 2, it might not work properly if you use enhanced conversions, so the method I'm about to show you. As you can see here, there's a section here called set up automatic enhanced conversions with user provided data event tag. It says click the trigger configuration and set it to form submission, and it's got a note here: you must select form submission for enhanced conversions to work properly. So if you are using a thank you page and you follow the instructions I'm about to show you, and you find that the enhanced conversions isn't working, that's probably why, and you ideally need to switch to the form submission trigger type. Okay, so I'll jump back now to Google Tag Manager. So the first thing we want to do is to go to our Google Ads conversion tag that we set up earlier. We want to modify the tag configuration here. So inside this, there is a field called include user provided data from your website. So this is actually enhanced conversions for web. So if I tick this box, we will get a drop down box here which says select user provided data variable. So there are no variables set here, so I need to create a new one. So I'll click new, and now it will create a new variable type of user provided data. So we can call this automatic collection. And back here. Now there's two ways you can add user provided data. You can do it manually or you can do it automatically. I'm only going to show the automatic method because it's much simpler and easier to do. Manual configuration would be if you have email or phone number being pushed to the data layer, for example, and then you can extract that in its own variable and then populate them here. Now, a lot of people don't know how to do this, or a lot of people don't have forms that can push this data to the data layer. There are other ways you can scrape the email address and phone number, but using the data layer is the most straightforward if you do go for the manual option. Now, if you have a web developer, you might be able to set up the manual configuration if they can assist you in helping push that data to the data layer. But as I said, for this course, I'm just going to show you the automatic collection example. So instead of having this selected as manual, click on automatic collection here. You don't need to tick anything else. You can leave this as is and then click save here. And as you can see, we have the box ticked of include user provided data from your website, and we've set it to the variable that we just made, the user provided variable called automatic collection. And that's basically it for the enhanced conversions for web. So we now click save, and we're now good to go. You'll also see as well, if we go to the variables section, and if we go to user defined variables, it's created an additional variable here that we just made, which was the automatic collection. So if you ever needed to modify this for future reference, you can find it here. And as you can see, it's got the options that we just gave it. Okay, so the final step is to test and debug that the enhanced conversions for web is actually working. So we'll go to the preview mode again, go to the landing page that the form is on, wait for it to load up. Check tag assistance, looks good. And again, the conversion linker tag is firing on all pages as it should. And then the Google Ads form submission tag hasn't fired yet because we haven't submitted a form yet. So we will fill this form in quickly with some test data, test.roughly.co.uk, then just add a message and then click submit. Go back to the tag assistant tab. And as you can see, the Google Ads form submission tag has been fired. Now again, if I click on this, click on show more, you can see we have CSS provided enhanced conversion value. It's pulling in the automatic collection tag here. And you can see here that the include user provided data from your website is set to true. So this is actually automatically now scraping the email address from the form that we just submitted, and enhanced conversions for web should be working. Okay, so one final thing on the enhanced conversions for web. Another way to check if your enhanced conversions for web is working is to go to the goals page again inside of your Google Ads account, go to summary, and then go to the diagnostics tab, which is right next to the conversion goals. So click on diagnostics. You'll have an overview section here, and it should say enhanced conversions is working or not. I will say give it around 24 to 48 hours to propagate. Sometimes it can take some time. It's not instant. And it also depends on the volume of conversions you're tracking. If you're only getting a handful of conversions per week, then it might take a bit extra time. If you're getting a bunch of conversions, per day, it should work quite quickly. As you can see here, it says all enhanced conversion actions are active, and you can even click the see details to see some more details on like the conversion actions, for example, that are picking up enhanced conversions. And yeah, that's just an easy way to check and make sure that things are actually working as intended. And yeah, that is the end of module 3 and the end of the course on conversion tracking fundamentals for lead generation. Now you should be confident in Google Tag Manager, implementing a conversion tag for Google Ads tracking, and also layering on enhanced conversions for web. If you follow all of the steps in all 3 modules, you should have an account that runs well and tracks conversions effectively. And yeah, if you are a business that is running Google Ads and you would like an audit and some feedback on the campaigns and ads you're running, please do check out our free marketing plan. You can find more at 𝗪𝗵𝘁.co.uk, and there's also links in the description. And if you stuck around to the end of the video, and if you watched all of the modules, thank you so much for watching. Please do drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers. Bye.